everyone. Hope you're all doing well. I just wanted to start off today's class by saying congratulations to the lot of you. You did fantastic work on the projects. Myself and Miss O'Mani were delighted to see the different projects and to see what people's ideas were and to see that the ideas are starting to come together. So there was a lot of different projects that actually had very similar themes, like geometrical patterns, and there was a lot of you looking at trees and nature and different animals. So it's important from my perspective and Miss O'Mani's perspective and your perspective that you're able to see what these connections are. Now, this is the reason why we're doing this project. So when we come back from our small break of online teaching, that we'll be able to put all these projects together and see what people were thinking, and so that you can actually point out the different common connections between like color and geometric shapes, and just to kind of get a feel for what other ideas people had. Now, I was delighted to see that each project was completely different. So the people that worked in groups did very good work. You could tell that it wasn't just one person doing the whole project, that it was three different people thinking independently, and that you were all coming together to make one combined project. And then you could see on the individual ones where people's individual personalities really stuck out and really presented themselves. So I'll be going through some of those ideas in today's class. But I just wanted to start off by saying well done, and I'm very, very happy to see all the brilliant work that was handed in. So we're going to start here today by going back into our gallery. Now, last class we were looking at our mind maps. So we were just taking a quick look at how different things connected to each other. So we had like the color here of one of Ake's paintings connected with Shepherd Fairy or OB's paintings, and how that might connect with maybe another painting that you might have had a third one there. Or else how stencils and street art combined with another one of Shepherd Fairy's artworks, and vice versa, and how they link together and the different thought paths that kind of crossed over. Now, what we're going to be doing in today's class is we're going to take one of these images. Now, it doesn't have to be an image from your mind map. It could be, say, maybe an area of something that you were looking at or something you were thinking of, and we're going to focus on it. Okay, so I'm just going to go back. I'm going to click new, grab a new page, and I've just saved a few images just to kind of show you a few different things. Now, a few different people were looking at geometrical patterns, but one of my favorite ones that I seen was from a guy, I think it was Rafael Lopez. One of the students have referenced this in the class, and I was delighted to look at it because it actually referenced a lot of the common themes that we'll be looking at, such as nature, and we had faces and birds, but it also had the colorful theme going through it. So we have like a connection here between the oranges and then the browns, but in each separate section it totally changed its color palette, and I just thought it was a gorgeous piece, and I was glad that one of you referenced it. So really, really good job. 2 seconds there now. I'll just go through that and just get it out of there. Then something else that I seen was very important and a great suggestion was, I think, by Melanie, who said that she'd love if the project had a kind of a meaning to it or a story behind it. Now, I couldn't agree more that having a project that has meaning to it and purpose will make you work harder on it, and it'll actually stand the test of time. Because if you pick something that's in the local area, let's say Ballincollig Castle, you actually have a better connection with it because you'll pass it every day, or you'll see it on your way to school, or maybe you've been there once or twice before, and you'll be able to say, yeah, I remember it, and it reminds me of my childhood, or it reminds me of a specific time in your life, and that gives it more meaning to the artwork. So I totally agree with you, Melanie. I think that's a great idea to focus in on something that you can relate to and something that actually has meaning to it. Now, I'm not trying to say that ye all are going to pick Ballincollig Castle, but maybe when we find a common theme, that we'll be able to say, okay, we're going to fixate on that and see how to create it. Now, the what we're going to be doing in today's class is, what I want you to do is expand on one of your images. So, for instance, I can't remember who suggested, but someone had suggested nature, and they had put in multiple different images of nature and different animals. Okay, so for an example now of what we're going to be doing in today's class, I'm just going to pick this bird here, and I'm going to show you what we're going to be doing. So, say now if you pick an image from your mind map, or if you want to pick a new image, you're going to be working in on top of it to see how to use it for our project. Now I'm just going to delete these layers down underneath just so I can just work on this independently. Now, to work on it, what we can do is, if you want, you can start by rubbing out the background. You can erase it. You can also grab one of those magic wands and it'll help you rub out the background. It'll just grab onto the outline of the bird and then you can just erase every other color if you do want, if you are any good at using different apps. So what you can start by doing is, if you wish, you can erase the background. Now for what I want to do, I'm going to just start by leaving the background in, because one thing I wanted to show you what that I love about this app is how you can actually turn your images into a geometrical artwork. Okay, now you do that by, sorry, no, it's usually in the paintbrush. You click down here to your tools bar, you give it a click, you go up here to your FX button. Now the magic wand is the one that I was saying, if you want to rub out everything else bar the bird, you can click the magic wand, or else the lasso. Sorry, I'm breaking up there. You go onto your FX one and you have all these different functions. Now, just for an example, the artist that we were looking at inside in town, Aches, he uses this function for his artworks. So 2 seconds there now. He brings them out just a small bit and strengthens it a small bit. Now, so then when you zoom into the artwork, you can see that it's a multiple layered image. Okay, so you can see the blue one, you can see all the ones underneath it, and you can also bring it out further if you want them to be further apart. Okay, then you can also go in and distance it so that they're all in different directions and different layers, so you can bring the reds to the front or the greens to the front depending on how you want it. Okay, now obviously we're not going to be doing that today, so I'm just going to press the back button. Now remember, these are your forward and back buttons, so if you ever make a mistake, just go back to them. They're quite easy to use. Go back into FX, and I'm going to scroll right down here to the end, because what I want to do is find the geometrical shape ones. Now, I see one there that's pixel and crystals. There's squares, hexagons, triangles. There's even pointillism, so you can go down along the different art movements. I think what I want is a triangular one. Okay, so I'm going to click it a second time. I'm going to bring it up. So if you wanted it very abstract, you could go all the way to this. I don't. I want to capture the bird and see how to make it look like a bird still. And I'm going to make those triangles a bit bigger. Now remember, when you're when you're going to be spray painting this on the wall, you want it so that you actually can create it and that it's not going to be too complex. Okay, so the more triangles you do, say if it's this many triangles, you won't be able to spray paint that small on the wall. So I'm just going to go for maybe there. Sorry, I'm just going to do a bit more. Now you can tap the plus if you want just small movements. Okay, so maybe there, and I'm going to just zoom in and take a look. Okay, so I think that's kind of interesting. I love the the branch. I think the branch turned out really nice. Okay, then once I have that done, I am going to click X and I'm going to go into the rubber and I'm going to start getting rid of the background. I'm going to show you now why. Now I'm only going to do a rough job. I'm not going to do a perfect job because this is a video and I don't want you sitting there for hours. Okay, so very rough, rushed job. Okay, then I'm going to bring in my next layer, and on the next layer. Now, just bear in mind, okay, these are your different layers that you're going to be doing. The layer that you're focusing on now is the one that's highlighted in blue. So if you want an image to go underneath the bird, you go on the layer that's underneath it, or you add a new layer and you go to the one underneath it. If you want to bring that up, you grab this part of it and you bring it above it. So that's very important. If you want the image to go on top of the bird, you can bring it above it. If you want to focus underneath the bird, you go down there. Now I'll show you what I mean by that. So say now if I wanted to focus on a part of Ballincollig, So here we can see a part of the regional park just here, and I'm going to click cancel, and here you can see it's behind the bird. Now if I bring it above the bird, then the bird is behind my building. Okay, so as you know, I want the bird to be in front of it, and I'm going to get rid of that there now. Now the bird is huge there, so I'm going to scale down the bird a bit. So I think I hit this one, and I can make the bird a good bit smaller. So I can make the bird that size. And here we can start seeing that I'm playing around with the idea of the bird in space. Okay, not space as in out of this universe. I'm on about just in an area. Okay, so here I have the background in Ballincollig, and I have the bird. Okay, and the bird is geometrical patterns. Now what I can do is go in back into my FX. Actually, I'm not, because I'm actually have to fix or going onto the wrong layer. So make sure you select the right layer that you want to work on before going into it. Back up to FX, and I'm going to go to my triangular layers, and this time I'm going to make them a different size triangle so that the bird stands out more. Okay, I can either do more or less, so I'm going to go with there and there. Okay, now we can see that the bird is in this kind of triangular pixelated place, and I can then go X, go back to the layer that I want, grab the rubber and make it a lot smaller, and start tidying up the different areas to suit myself. Now I can also bring down the hardness of it so that it's not rubbing out half as much. Okay, and it's a lot smoother, so that when I zoom out it looks a lot neater. Okay, now you can see down here, I'm just going to rub all that out. Okay, now this is just a very quick example. It isn't that I want everyone doing triangles. What I'm just trying to say is that you can create your own geometrical artwork using this app. What you can also do is, if I go back into the import image, and if we say we go back and we pick the bird again, okay, and we're going to click yes, click cancel, and bring that down. What you can also do is you can, oh sorry, I just need to grab a paintbrush. What you can also do is start outlining the bird. Okay, so say now if you're really interested in recreating this bird, but you want to do all your own colors and you want all your own ideas, what you can do is you can start by outlining the bird fully. I'm just going to do this really quickly, well, as quick as I can. Okay. Okay, and then when you want to see how this is going to look, you can go down here to your layer, grab the opacity of the layer, and sorry, now I'm going to just turn off these two layers so you can't see them. Grab the opacity and bring it right down, and what you're going to be able to see is the lines that you drew. Now see the way my lines got faded there? That's because I'm actually drawing on top of the same image. So what you can do is you can bring that back up, jump up to the layer above it, okay, and if I start drawing really quickly there now, I'll just show you there now what the difference is. Just 2 seconds there now, bear with me. Okay, then when I bring down the opacity, I'm actually going to be looking at the, oh sorry, I brought down the opacity on the wrong layer. If I bring down the opacity on the layer of the bird, I'm going to be left with the outline of the drawing. Okay, so if you find that you're not the greatest drawer, this is a great way just to get the outline of an idea and to start building up your own ideas on the ibis app. Now as soon as you have your own ideas drawn into this app, screenshot them and send them on so that we can start building up a bank of the images that you're working on, and then you'll have more to present when you come back into school. Okay, so be working away on this and be working away on building up the amount of images that you want, so that when you come back, you don't need to have any art materials with you. You can just use your phone, and you'll be able to. I'll have all your presentations and stuff, and we can take a look at the different artwork that was sent in, and you can describe what your ideas were and where they were going. They don't have to be finished pieces of art. They can just be loose drawings, loose nice drawings, kind of like this bird, and it'll just be just to get your point across. And then when we start finalizing where our ideas are going, then we'll start doing the proper drawings. Okay, hope that helps, guys, and I'll be talking to you tomorrow. Best of luck.